MLB just dropped their first and second team all MLB list, and we have some beef with it. Our guys, Julio Rodriguez, our guy Cal Raleigh, Gino, they all got left out. All of our starting pitching got left
Pitching
out.
staff, what are we doing,
I know we
MLB?
did.
What
I
are
know
we doing, MLB?
I know we didn't make the playoffs, but hey, show us a little bit of love. Levi, outline why this is so bad, why there is so much East Coast bias and so much Mariners hate to the Northwest right now. What is happening?
Well, it appears that Major League Baseball decided that only playoff teams get to be on this year's edition of the All MLB first and second team. Jonah Heim gets to be the starting second team catcher. You look at the stats, Jonah Heim is just not as good as Cal Raleigh. Cal
Nope.
Raleigh, 112 OPS plus for Cal. Jonah Heim, 103. Jonah Heim was literally barely above league average as a catcher last season at 317 on base. They were pretty much the same there. Cal Raleigh, 30 home runs, 456 slugging. Jonah Heim, only 18 home runs and a 438 slugging. So the stats, in my opinion, show that Cal Raleigh was better. Jonah Heim did have a better batting average, but ultimately, I think the power numbers really kind of back up Cal. And it's not like Jonah Heim is some sort of elite defensive catcher. Jonah Heim is good defensively, but so is Cal. So I think,
Defensively.
if
Great.
you want to tell me, if you want to argue for Will Smith over Cal, I would be a lot more interested in that argument. But Jonah Heim does not deserve this over Cal Raleigh. There's just no way.
No, I mean, there's no way. I mean, obviously that's close. What I don't think is close. Nathan Eovaldi? I mean,
Yeah, that's
come on.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Luis Castillo, George Kirby both finished top 10 in the Cy Young voting. I don't understand how Nathan Eovaldi 3.63 ERA. Somehow he gets the nod. I understand he's on, he had a good
He's
postseason.
only there because he's on the Rangers.
I know, and the Rangers bias is actually crazy.
It's insane. Just because they won the
They're,
World Series.
get this, guys. On either the first or second team, there is a catcher from the Rangers, a second base from the Rangers, a shortstop from the Rangers, an outfielder from the Rangers, and two starting pitchers. This was not that good of a team. I know they were good, but come on. What are we doing, MLB? Luis Castillo and George Kirby had great years, way
Yeah.
better years than guys like Nathan Eovaldi. You can argue over guys like Shohei Ohtani, first team starting a pitcher. I know
Yeah.
he's and bow down to the $700 million player that can get an entire country to rally behind him. But he pitched a half a year, Levi. I mean, what are we doing as the MLB to not put one singular Mariner? It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers is pretty telling for Eovaldi. Luis Castillo, 3.34 ERA. George Kirby, 3.35 ERA. And
Very
Nathan
similar.
Eovaldi is sitting at a 3.63 ERA. Innings pitched, you want to argue for innings pitched? Okay. Luis Castillo, 197. Kirby, 191. Eovaldi, only 144 innings. Look at how about strikeouts? Luis Castillo, 219 strikeouts. George Kirby, 172. Eovaldi, 132. And how about wins above replacement? The stat that the MLB loves more than any other stat. Luis Castillo, 3.3. George Kirby, 3.9. Nathan Eovaldi, 3.1. So Kirby and Castillo across the board were better and pitched more innings than Nathan Eovaldi. I don't understand what the argument for Eovaldi is other than, well, he was on the team that won the World Series and he was their ace. Well, he would have been arguably, and there would be an argument that he was either the third or fourth best, depending on Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert's numbers were arguably better than Eovaldi because he had a slightly lower ERA, but in 50 more innings. So, you think about it, usually the guys who pitch more innings, that's a little more telling of how good they are. Nathan Eovaldi, he doesn't have the durability and he doesn't have the ERA over Castillo or Kirby. It doesn't make any sense.
Not at all. Another guy we haven't even touched on, our main superstar, Julio Rodriguez. Listen, we all know how good guys like Aaron, a guy like Aaron Judge is. But bro didn't play for half the year, and Julio's stats are still better. If we're going, this is the MLB team from the last 5 years. Sure, put on Aaron Judge, put on Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
That's not what this should be. It's 2023 all MLB team. Julio Rodriguez, 5.3 wins above replacement, 654 ABs. You look at Aaron Judge, 4.5 wins above replacement, 367. That's almost half as many at bats. And he has a worse batting average at 267 compared to Julio's 275. It's ridiculous. Julio plays a better outfielder defensively. I understand you gotta get guys from New York in there just so MLB can get their clicks in. But this is ridiculous. And the Northwest, like, people hate the Northwest. They think we're just up here in our own little bubble and no one cares about us. Well, I care about us, and I think we should get recognized. And it's things like this. And I really don't want to harp on this offseason because it's pissing me off so much. But the reason that guys don't want to sign with the Mariners, slightly because of this sort of type of reason. They don't want to come and get under-recognized and then their next contract not get paid as much and not get as much love up in here in Seattle. If Julio Rodriguez was in New York,
he'd be the MVP already.
Just imagine.
To be fair, to play devil's advocate here, Aaron Judge did hit 37 home runs in half the at-bats. He hit more home runs than Julio. However, Adolis Garcia, in the same amount of at-bats, Adolis Garcia, he had a slightly, and I mean ever so slightly higher OPS, but the WAR favors Julio by an entire win in the same amount of at-bats. You know why that is? Because of how much value Julio brings to the table on defense. He's getting so much more value defensively than any other center fielder in the league. Julio is, I think right now, he's the best center fielder in baseball. And the argument for Adolis Garcia there against Julio, the only argument he really has is, well, he was on the Rangers. They won the World Series. You know what? You know what team was one game behind the Rangers this year? The Mariners. It could have easily been us. And I don't think this is an award that should be given for postseason. They have the World Series MVP for a reason, but this is not what that is supposed to be.
Yeah, against every other team that wasn't the Rangers, the Mariners had a better record by far. So this is quite frustrating for sure. I mean, there's like multiple different positions that we can point at. I mean, this isn't like Julio Rodriguez got snubbed from the All-MLB team. This is Julio Rodriguez got snubbed. This is Luis Castillo got snubbed. This is George Kirby got snubbed. This is Cal Raleigh got snubbed. Like, there are 4 or 5 guys that we can legitimately point to a guy on either the first or second team and go, definitively, the stats show the Mariners have a better player.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. And I'm sure other teams can do that as well. But I mean, there's a lot of teams on this list. And the fact that the Mariners aren't on there is very, very frustrating to say the least. Yeah. I mean, even I don't know. It's just, it shows the MLB and media in general, this bias towards the East Coast and teams that end up making the World Series and stuff like that. And these awards shouldn't be about that. And it does end up hurting us when we try to require free agents, and it sucks. And I want our guys to get recognized. Like, I want Julio Rodriguez. Like, I want those types of guys that put in really good seasons to get recognized. And it's frustrating for sure.
The other thing, I'll just note this as well. I think it's a little interesting that the MLB chooses to only honor 2 relievers for first and second team when they're going to give a full 5 starting rotation. Like, there's 8 guys in the bullpen, so this isn't really a full team. I would argue that if they were to do a top 10 relievers and maybe 5 relievers on first and second team, Andres Munoz, Matt Brash would both also have an argument for that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not going to try to say that Munoz is better than Emmanuel Clase or Devin Williams because he's probably not as good as those guys, but he would be in the conversation for sure for like the 6th or 7th best.
Yeah.
So
agree.
I feel like maybe the MLB needs to honor relief pitchers a little more because I feel like if you're a reliever right now, I mean, a lot of relievers probably feel a little screwed over. Why did all the starters get all?
Yeah.
Relievers are a very integral part of baseball.
Yeah, and how about the guys like Teoscar Hernandez and Canzone and Rojas? I mean, the fact they're not even on this list are crazy. I mean, the way the way the Mariners front office is treating this offseason, they should be on these lists right now.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
studs.
Rojas. I mean, and the Mariners front office obviously thinks Rojas is an MVP candidate. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, if the MLB,
I mean, Ozzy Albies or Rojas.
Yeah.
I'll say the MLB did a decent job for a lot of these, but there's definitely a few where I'm like Juan Soto also got left off, which I'm like, how did that happen? Juan Soto
Yeah,
had a
that's a
really
guy.
he had like a 970 OPS, and again, like Aaron
That's how
Judge
he makes
half the
it.
games.
Sure.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Weird. All right, I think that'll do it though. Thanks guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe on the video if you made it all the way to the end. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers by the end of the year. Doesn't look like it's gonna happen, but it would help us out a lot if you subscribe. So thank you a lot, and as always, go Mariners.